Hello, my name is Karen Cooper Linden. I am from El Paso. Not born here. I was born in New York, but as a military family, we moved here after our Germany deployment in 1962. So I've been here that long. And I am active in the community because that's what my dad did. He gave back, and lots of giving back to people that weren't as fortunate as we were. I grew up as a very blessed individual in El Paso, and right now I'm serving as the president of Eta Pi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and my term ends in December. I've been serving for 2 years. This is my second time serving, but it's been a joy because our chapter works at working in the community. And one of the things I do want to put a plug in, that we have worked tirelessly with our teens to get them into college. And last November, they took a historically black college tour. The very first time we have undertaken that endeavor, and it was very, very successful. We now have 4 seniors that are attending an HBCU. Okay, I am divorced. I've been divorced almost 8 years. I have 37-year-old twin girls and a 33-year-old daughter. The twins live here with me. Well, not with me, not in my house, but they live in El Paso. And my youngest daughter lives in Denver, Colorado. She is a psychologist for the Denver Broncos, which is a recent position she has accepted. And the twins are right now going through online schooling, and they're like everyone else. They're not teachers. I'm not a teacher. Speaking of occupation, I am a retired registered nurse. I was a registered nurse for 36 years. My last job was home health. So I was all over El Paso treating patients in their homes, per doctor's orders. And my last patient was my mother. She passed away in November 2018. And she was with our home health agency, and so I took care of her. She ended up having a G-tube and ileostomy tube, so I just took care of her. And then when she passed away, that was it. I haven't worked as a nurse since, but I had a very, very fulfilling career. I was married as a military wife, so I got a chance to move around different parts of the country, even in Alaska, and work as a nurse in every state that I went. So that was always a blessing for me. Right now, the only organizations that I'm really active with is Alpha Kappa Alpha, who is a part of the National Panhellenic Council. And I will tell you that we took on the endeavor of voter registration. So far, we've registered 97 voters, and I was very excited to be able to do that. And some people just were not interested. Some people, we found out, didn't know that they were eligible to vote. And that's really sad. So we have to get more education out through the year about being able to vote, so we won't have to have this last ditch effort. But I'm excited about El Paso. I've been here for so long. Even after moving, I came back so I could help my parents. And it's been very nice to be able to have my grandbabies here. I have 3 grandchildren. One twin has a boy, girl. 7 and 8, and the other twin has a girl that's 8. My 17-year-old self would need to follow your heart. Yeah, that's it. Follow your heart. Do what you feel that you were going to be good at, because God has given everybody a gift. So just follow your heart, and don't let left or right sway you from that, because that's how you're going to be most satisfied. Unfortunately, a lot of women have been beat down, either mentally or physically, and they don't think they're worthy. I believe that you need to talk to yourself daily about what God has given you, what of a wonderful person you are. Even if you don't feel it at that moment, still speak those words to yourself, because the brain is a magnificent organ, and you just need to surround yourself with other positive people. If you have a friend that when you leave her, you're in the dumps, then you maybe need to dump her. You don't need to be around people that are not going to uplift you. I don't know if you call it an aha moment, but at some point in time, I realized I can't worry about everything. I got to take care of me and mine. And you can't worry about you and yours. God is in control. That was my aha moment. I think that was very early on, because I tried to raise my daughters with that same concept, to do what you can, do your best, and then let God do the rest. Because a lot of times we spend too much time trying to fix things that we don't have any control over. The first person, if I had the opportunity to speak to, alive or deceased, the first person that popped into my head was my great-great-grandfather, Gabriel Townsend, because he and his brother were given the plantation that they were born on in Tennessee, and they were given the plantation by the slave master, who was a Townsend, in order for them to bring all their family in one location. So as a result of that, and my Gabriel Townsend had a lot of children, and his brother was named Felix, and as a result, and this was in Tennessee, and as a result of that, our family has been able to trace a lot of our roots, because the family was kept together as much as possible. So I would just like to talk to him about growing up on a plantation and then owning the plantation. The one thing that I would like to accomplish in this lifetime, which I have already done, I became a Mary Kay sales director, and I was the first one in El Paso to reach that title. Through life happenings, I am no longer a sales director, but I would like to achieve that again. And of course, in my lifetime, just to show my children that you can be down and get back up again. The reason I went down was, like I say, life happening. I went through a divorce, and then I took care of my parents for 2 years, and now it's just me. I live alone, and now I'm just ready to do what I need to do to get back up. Because when you're in a position that you have a larger audience, you can get out more messages, more positive messages, because that's what Mary Kay is all about, is being positive and helping other women. And as a nurse, I didn't always find that as a good opportunity to help. I helped patients, but the nurses themselves, we didn't have a lot of camaraderie where we help each other. One place in the world that I would like to visit is Hawaii, because all the pictures are beautiful. I have 2 sorority sisters that are over there, and they're always posting pictures on Facebook. And my granddaughter says that's her dream, to go to Hawaii. And so I think I would like to just, I'm not too fond of going out of the US of A. So yeah, I would like to go to Hawaii. A quote that inspires me is one that Mary Kay always said. I'm not saying that she made it up, but it was one of the quotes that she would say: if you can believe it or dream it, you can do it. Because God gives you the dream, and I found that you've already got what you need to achieve the dream. We just have to put 10% more effort into it. I love to read. What I'm currently reading is, I can tell you the stacks of books that I have purchased lately, but I'm not reading currently anything. I like to read a lot of positive, like Les Brown, Joyce Meyer. Those are the authors that I like to listen to, because I don't do a lot of reading, even though I love reading. My soon-to-be daughter-in-law just wrote a book, and it's called The Middle Passage. And I purchased that book. So that is one book I pre-ordered it. So it's supposed to be in like next week. And it's a book about passing in America. Very interesting, yes. So I am going to read that. And she has a lot of insight. She grew up in foster care. Her first book was about growing up in foster care. But this book, that Middle Passage, is what I'm going to start reading, by Julia S. Charles. The things that are on my musical playlist, I have, I listen to Pandora, so I have a gospel station. Then I have my oldie station, Commodores, Jackson 5. You know, that's what I grew up with, Temptations. So, and my favorite gospel artist is Donnie McClurkin. So I have a Donnie McClurkin Pandora station. Those are the two that I listen to the most. Of course, you can't forget Luther. My life as a woman is, at this moment, fulfilled. My father provided a very, very good life for me and my brothers. I have 4 brothers. Because he graduated in 1954 from HBCU as a second lieutenant. And now, you know, in 1954, there were not many that looked like me. So he excelled, and he gave us a very good life, and I feel very fulfilled. My kids, you know, family was instilled in me growing up. We did a lot of family stuff that families now don't do. We went to drive-in every Saturday as a family. We did picnics as a family. We ate dinner as a family. You know, we all sat down at the same time. And so I feel like I've had a very fulfilling life. What I love about El Paso is the weather. The weather of the 70s, however, because, you know, it wasn't as hot as it is now in the 70s. And we didn't have to worry about being snowed in. Even though I would prefer to have a little more seasons, not hot all the time. I love the people, generally the people that I've met and I grew up with. You know, I didn't have a lot of problems, you know. Now, when I grew up in El Paso, it was only 30% Hispanic. Right. My kids can look through my yearbook and they're like, "Mom, all these white people." I say, "Yeah, that was what I grew up with." And I think it was 1985 when we really started increasing the Mexican population. But what I like about El Paso is the quietness. You know, compared to other cities that I've lived, you don't have to worry about locking up really tight everything. You don't have to worry about going here and getting shot at. Some cities are pretty bad, and they do have to worry about that. So overall, El Paso is pretty safe, and the weather is decent. I believe El Paso can be more inviting by including other cultures. When I graduated from high school, I went to Andress High School. Most of my classmates moved out of here because there wasn't a lot for people that looked like me. So we could have a reunion in Houston or Dallas because that's where they went. Not too many people in my class stayed here. Now they have come back, like I did, come back to take care of their parents. But as far as we need a little more cultural activities for people that are not of Mexican or Hispanic descent. To be politically correct, what the world needs now is love. You know, I grew up, you are your brother's keeper. That's how I grew up, you know. So if you need something, I'm going to help you if I can help you. But too many people have the attitude of, what's in it for me? You can't raise children like that. So my children, as a result, are very giving also. But now, giving comes with a price, because you're always going to run into that person that's going to take advantage of you. And you just have to learn, when you run into someone like that, don't stop being who you are. Don't stop giving. Just stop giving to that person. That's how I do it. A gym in the desert of El Paso that I enjoyed, and I've saw it more than one time, was Viva El Paso. Now, I don't know if they're going to still run that because it gave you the history of how El Paso was formed. And it's very entertaining, and it's nice to see how we evolved. Black people and Mexican people, how they evolved in El Paso. And I think that was a jewel. I made sure my kids went to see it. And I wish it was still running. I'm not sure if it is. So my grandchildren could see it. My personal message to El Pasoans is, have the neighborhood camaraderie spirit that we had when we had the Walmart shooting. We all reached out and helped each other. This, what's going on now in this last year, has been horrible. That's not who God wants us to be. And we just need to come back together as a community.